I'm so cute and fuzzy. Pet me.
Hello everybody, it's me, Nate, aka Devil Dog, and I'm back with another PC game review. I guess you could kind of say this is an early access review, but first of all I want to give a huge shout out to Neo Popcorn Corporation. I think that's the name of the company that made this. Yeah, I believe it is, Neo Popcorn Corporation. They provided me with the code to actually play this game and get a good flavor of it. And honestly, I believe it's going into early access on just coming up here in September to where you can actually try it out for yourself. And it is a very, very interesting title because here lately, I've been playing a lot of these games, a lot of indie games especially, that are trying to all recreate and capture this sort of Castlevania side-scrolling feel. Some of them have done very well while others have not, and this one is definitely an interesting take on it. And I'll have to say that it's definitely an interesting game. But is 3000 Duel a game that I could recommend to you, or is it something that you should avoid? Well, stay tuned to my early access review of 3000 Duel to find out. Hello everybody, it's me, Nate, aka Devil Dog, and I'm back with another game review. This time I'm doing an early access review of a game known as 3000th Duel. It was developed and published by Neo Popcorn Corporation and will be coming to early access on September 24th of 2019 on PC. I have heard rumors down the pipeline when this game is officially, quote, done and out. There might be a Nintendo Switch release for it as well. So you'll be able to find it on Steam and also maybe eventually on Nintendo Switch, which, I'm all for any more games on Switch. They seem to be able to put a lot more games on Switch than other systems. It must be cheaper or something, I don't know. Now, this game is basically a side-scrolling platforming action game, very similar to titles like Hollow Knight, Blasphemous, and naturally, since these games nowadays all want to be kind of like Bloodstained, it also does have this weird sprinkling of Dark Souls difficulty to it. Now, you go around and explore around 300 or give or take different areas and fight around, I think, about 100 to 150 different enemies, including big giant boss battles that are pretty much the fun part and very challenging. I think it has about 100 different items that you can collect and interact with, and as you play as your, quote, hero, a guy who has lost his memory that wears a rather evil mask, gee, I can't imagine if he's good or bad or not, you'll go around the different biomes attacking your foes with your different weapons. You have your lance, your sword, and your different blades, and each one will allow you to be able to do different attacks, different areas of attack and stuff like that. And as you progress through, you will get occults, which are basically, they allow you to upgrade your character's magical abilities. Now, along with this, you have your standard issue ability to save at statues, similar to like bonfires from, of course, Dark Souls and stuff like that. You do have, the art style reminds me of almost like a bobbleheadish version of Bloodstained. I mean, it's not bad visually. It's a very appealing looking game. And the animation's very nice and solid. It was staying, give or take, about 50 to 60 frames a second when I was playing this. Had some dips when there was a lot of flashing on screen, but nothing that made the game unplayable. Once again, I was playing it with a controller, and the only thing I have to point out is it seems like certain buttons seemed backwards. Like when you're in the options screen, the buttons seemed backwards. But when you're actually playing the game, I had no problems playing it at all. Now, as you progress and you level your character up, naturally you'll get different abilities. You'll be able to actually use a skill tree to add new moves and abilities to your character as you level up. And it does have a map similar to Castlevania or just about any other Metroidvania style game. Hands down, I'll have to say that this was actually a really fun game, but once again, it's one of those balls hard type games. Every single Metroidvania has to be like super difficult, and you know, I get why, but at the same time, it would be kind of nice, maybe, not to have another game come out of the mold that is just hair pulling difficult. I mean, it's not anything that'll really deter you from playing this kind of game if you like this style game, but it does seem like people are getting into this rut of making the same style game again. I mean, for the longest time, it's all first-person shooters, then a bunch of horror games with jump scares. Now the big kick seems to be these Castlevania tough-as-nails side-scrollers. And, you know, I don't mind as long as it has enough character and charm to actually allow you to enjoy it. And so far, I'll have to say, this is kind of really bare bones when it comes to story. There's really, like, no story other than you're thrown in and you're trying to figure out, hey, you know, who is this guy? Why does he not remember who he is? And why is he doing this? I mean, it doesn't really have the best story so far. Now, this is a far from finished game, and they do still plan to do a lot to it since this is only an early access title. So fortunately, I'm sure before they launch the official launch version of it, they will probably implement a decent story and some other aspects, including bug fixes as well. I haven't really had too many issues with the game. It is a good action hack and slasher. Honestly, I just don't get the art style. It's fine, but I'm not into this weird aesthetic of these big head characters. It's kind of cartoony, But other than that, honestly, I do like the overall, design of the levels. The music is very, very nice and fitting for each section that you're in. I did not have a problem with figuring out how to play this title. It's pretty self-explanatory as you go through. I definitely recommend playing it with a controller. I know my buddy Deadman Bones played it. He used the controller as well, and I think he used like an Xbox controller for it. Honestly, in all due fairness, this is definitely a game worth checking out. Since it's going into early access on September 24th, I would say if you are a fan of these kinds of games, go ahead and check it out. It's not bad. It's fun, and currently they don't have a price setting for it. So I'm guessing when this does come out, it's probably going to be a $20 to $30 game. Maybe cheaper than that for the overall size and the complexity of just like the skill tree alone. Like I said, the best way to describe this game is it takes an art style of like bobbleheads almost. Well, not the animation, but just the art style, the big-headed characters, and combines it with level designs and the difficulties similar to Hollow Knight and Blasphemous. Honestly, every single one of these games that's coming out, fortunately, has had some sort of uniqueness to it, and this one does too. The graphics are big and bold, and I would say kind of on the cartoony side, but it's tough as nails difficult. It is really, really hard to actually get through this game. It's a hair puller, it really is. And fortunately, at least for this game, it doesn't appear like you lose really anything if you die. I know some other titles like Blasphemous make it where you have to go back to that location to get your magic meter back from being rotted, basically. This doesn't really seem to punish you that much for dying, but at the same time, it seems to focus mainly on the difficulties of the enemies that you fight and the platforming. You combine that with like all these spikes that you can fall to your death, and in the end, it is a challenging yet fun game that seems somewhat fair with a rather large difficulty spike once you progress in. It's very vibrant. The control is nice. I like it. It is definitely a game worth checking out if you like these kinds of games. This was Nate, aka Devil Dog. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this video. Make sure to go on to Steam. Check out the early access here on September 24th for this game, 3000 Duel. Try it out. At least you got to figure Neo Popcorn Corporation is a much smaller independent group compared to some other indie groups, and it was nice to see the amount of quality and polish they put into this title for such a small team of people. Make sure to hit that bell icon to stay updated whenever I release any new videos. Hit that like button if you like this video. Please leave a comment below if you think you're going to play 3000 Duel. And remember, I always end my videos by saying, have fun, play hard, and remember people, the devil is in the details. Peace out.